And to begin our class, I'm going to open with this poem from Dana Falls. It's called Awareness, Knowing Itself. Settle in the here and now. Reach down into the center where the world is not spinning and drink this holy peace. Feel relief flood into every cell. Nothing to do, nothing to be, but what you are already. Nothing to receive but what flows effortlessly from the mystery into form. Nothing to run from or run toward. Just this breath, awareness knowing itself as embodiment. Just this breath, awareness waking up to truth. Taking a few more rounds of breath in this pose. Letting the soles of the feet come down to the mat, knees towards the ceiling. And then hug the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And then letting the knees fall to one side. And pressing yourself up into your seated position. Any comfortable seated position. If you want to be on your blanket or a cushion to elevate the hips. Finding that nice tall spine, maybe closing the eyes or having a soft gaze. Inhale, reaching the arms overhead. Exhale, taking a twist over to the right. Breathing. Inhaling, coming through center, and exhaling over to the other side. Returning back to center, the hands to the knees, right palm out a few inches away from the right hip. Inhale the left arm up and side bend over to the left. Inhale, come through center, left hand down, right arm up. Stretching that right side of the torso. Hands back to center and moving into some circles. Maybe 3 or 4 rounds moving in this direction. And then the next time that you come to the front, just move it in the opposite direction. Next time you come to the front, just pause there. Walk the hands out in front of you. Keep the sitting bones on the mat and let your hands move as far forward as is good for you in terms of stretching that lower back. So you might be here, you might be out further, all depends what you've been doing today, what's been going on in your body physically. But just feel a nice stretch and take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Walk the hands back to center. And from here, let's move into tabletop. Maybe sitting, kneeling on your blanket. In table, finding your cat-cow movements. Taking an inhale and coming into cow, letting that belly come down. Exhale, looking at the knees, finding cat pose. You can turn the toes under or just have the feet flat on the mat. Continue with this movement, connecting the breath to the movement. Inhaling as you drop the belly and exhaling as you look at the knees and come into that cat back. Move for 2 more rounds. And then we'll come back to neutral table and step the right foot forward. Setting up for your low lunge pose, walking the hands up to the knees and just moving the knees, the hips forward and back just a little bit. Notice this left hip flexor and adjust the feet, adjust the distance and the width of your legs. And then when you're ready, arms come up for low lunge. From here, hands come to the heart. Let's twist over to the right. Take a breath here. Come back to center. Hands around the front foot. Optional here, turn the toes of the left foot under and lift the left knee off the mat, coming into runner's lunge. So that's an option. Or keep that knee down as we find another twist. So either keeping the knee down or lifting the knee off the floor, press that left hand into the mat, turn to the right and take a twist. Right arm rises up. Release back to center, bringing that knee down. And then we'll slowly begin to straighten that right leg. So a nice runner's stretch here. Just a gentle stretch. We're still waking up the body. The hamstrings might be really tight, so just be mindful. Take one more breath here. And then bring that right foot down and kind of shimmy the foot back, finding your table pose, and then just move the hips side to side. Notice how that feels on the right side of the body. And now we'll take that same sequence on the left side. So left foot forward, making your adjustments with your legs. How far apart do they need to be, width and length? Letting the hands come to that left thigh. And maybe just moving the hips, noticing that right hip flexor, outer left hip. Maybe you're even noticing your lower back. Helpful here in this pose to just bring that navel back to the spine so you can use the abdominal muscles. And from here, we'll let our arms come up. That feels comfortable this evening. Hands come to the heart and let's twist over to the left. Nice breath here. Returning back to center. Hands come around that left foot. Optional to lift the right knee up or leave it down as we come into our twist. Right palm presses into the mat, left arm comes up for a twist. Take a breath here. Release the hand, release the knee, and let's take that stretch for the left leg. Mindful of that hamstring. Maybe being aware, noticing the difference between the two sides this evening. Let's bring that left foot down, walking back into table and just taking some movement side to side. Moving those hips a little bit. If you want to take hip circles, moving a little bit more, that might feel nice. You know, a couple rounds in each direction. And from here, we're going to make our way to standing at the top of the mat. Two options. One is downward facing dog. And if you're in downward dog, just pedaling out the feet. If downward dog isn't for you this evening, then let's step one foot forward and the other foot forward and find forward fold. Elbows can rest on the knees. If you are in downward dog, bend the knees and walk forward so you're in this same position with the forearms resting on the thighs, knees bent. Pausing here, take a breath. And then let's bring the fingertips down to the mat, keeping the knees bent. Slowly rise back up and find your mountain pose. You can remove your blanket if you had it. And finding mountain pose. Feet that comfortable distance apart. Arms relaxed by the side. Eyes closed or gaze is soft. Taking that inward focus and noticing how you are feeling after our movements or floor movements. One more breath here. Let the eyes open. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, and exhale, bend through the knees, slowly come forward. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins. Exhale, fold, and then slowly rise back up. Arms overhead, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, look forward. Exhale and fold. Rise back up. Hands come to heart center. Release the arms by the side. Coming to the top of the mat. Starting with hands to hips, stepping the right foot back and finding your warrior one pose. Setting up your pose. Arms come up when you're ready, navel back to the spine. We'll take a little bit of a flow here. So bring your arms into goalpost arms. Inhale, exhale, slowly bow forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Last time. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Slowly come back up. Arms come overhead. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands around the back, clasping the fingers, maybe taking opposite elbows. Breathe here. And then inhale, exhale, slowly come forward, find your humble warrior pose. Release the arms, find warrior one. Bring the hands to the hips and turn to the side of your mat. Heels are in, toes are out, bend into the knees. Arms come into goalpost arms. Inhale, exhale, let the right elbow come down towards the right hip. Inhale to center, exhale over to the left. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. This is the last one. Inhale back to center, exhale to the other side. Back to center, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Release the arms by the side, and we'll find our way back to warrior one. So I have my right foot forward, my left foot back. I'm in warrior one pose. Arms are overhead for warrior one. Goalpost arms once again. Inhale, exhale, bow forward. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bow. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale back to center, release the arms up. Bring the arms around the back. Clasp the elbows or bring the fingers together. Feel the opening in the collarbones and the chest. Inhale. Exhale, find your humble warrior. Let's come back to warrior one. Arms come by the side. Step the left foot to meet the right foot. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, slowly fold forward. Inhale, bring the hands up to the shins. Exhale and fold. Slowly rise back up. Hands come to heart center. Bringing the hands back to the hips. This time stepping the right foot back. And we'll come into pyramid pose. So adjusting the feet so you're able to have both legs straight. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, slowly bowing forward. Hands are resting on the legs. And let's bring both hands to the left leg. Inhale the right arm up for a twist. Release that hand down. Slowly rise back up in your pyramid pose. Let's bend into that front foot, front knee. Inhale. Exhale, begin to come forward, shift the weight forward. Find warrior three or airplane, hands to hips. You can even just rest your hands against the wall. That's another option. And then we'll let that back foot come down and come back to the side of the mat for wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, slowly come forward, bending the knees as you need to. Let the head hang down if that feels good. You can always rest your elbows on your thighs and bend into your knees. Just let the body relax here. And slowly rising back up. And now we'll come to the back of the mat. So we have our left foot back, right foot forward. We've got both legs straight. Arms rise up as we prepare for pyramid pose. Inhale. Exhale. Begin to come forward. Hands are resting on that right leg. Let the right hand stay on the leg. Inhale the left arm up for a twist. Release that hand down. Slowly rise up. Let's start with the hands to the hips. Bend into that front knee. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, begin to come forward. Weight shifts forward. Left leg rises up. Find your arm position for this balance pose. And then we'll bring that left foot back down, and we're at the side of the mat once again. You can bring your hands into prayer. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands back to prayer. Inhale and reach. Exhale, lower the hands down. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands to the hips, and let's face the top of the mat. I have my right foot forward. I'm just going to step my left foot to meet my right and pause here in mountain pose. From here, inhaling the left foot back and finding warrior two. Bending into that front knee, maybe bending and straightening, just kind of feeling it out. Both feet, all four corners of both feet are engaged with the mat to feel that strong foundation. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, back to your warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reach the fingers forward. Triangle pose. Reverse triangle. Turn the feet so you're at the side of the mat. Bring the arms up, come into star pose. Inhale, exhale. And then lower the arms and find warrior two at the back of your mat. Left foot forward, right foot parallel with the short edge of the mat. Settle into warrior two on this side. Inhale and reverse warrior. Exhale, find your side angle pose. Inhale, back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reach the fingers forward. Triangle. Reverse triangle. Keeping the arms where they are, turning the feet. So you're at the side of the mat, bringing the right arm up. Inhale. Exhale, find your wide-legged forward fold. Bend into the knees as you need to. Let the head hang down. Hands can rest on the feet, the ankles, the legs, wherever it feels good. Now from here, slowly rise back up. Bring the arms overhead. Let the arms slowly rest down, hands to the hips, and we'll meet at the top of the mat. So at the top of the mat, let's find a tree pose. Turn the right knee out. Maybe that foot comes to the calf or the heel rests on the ankle. Noticing a point in front of you that isn't moving. Before releasing the arms from your side, just take a couple breaths here, focusing on that spot in front of you. And then let the arms come up into your tree pose position. Take another breath here. And let's release it down. And just shake it out. Move the arms side to side, the hips side to side. Make some movements. And then we'll find tree on the left side. So we'll left knee out to that angle. Place your foot where it's comfortable. Find that focal point and breathe 2 rounds of breath before moving your arms. And then bring your arms in whatever position you'd like for your tree pose and take a breath here. And release it down, shake it out. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, slowly bow forward. Bend into the knees, bring the hands down, and let's step back into table. From table, we're going to find a plank pose. So you can come into plank pose with your knees up or just bring your knees down. So you can tell the difference here if with my knees down in plank pose, they're further away. They're at an angle to my hip, whereas when we're in table, the knees are under the hips. So I've just moved my knees back. So just take a breath or two in your plank pose, knees up or knees down. And then we're slowly coming all the way down, letting the forehead come down to the mat. Taking a breath here. Maybe just letting the palms come down one on top of the other and just let your forehead rest on your palms. Let your legs be wide so the toes are in the opposite corners of the bottom of the mat, and just pause here. From here, bring the legs back together. Bring the forearms down onto the mat so you can find Sphinx pose as our back bend pose for this evening. And as you let the body just find this Sphinx pose, notice the lower back. If the compression feels too much, then just let the fingers and the hands come forward so you're more on your belly. Take a few breaths here, maybe 3 rounds of breath. And then come all the way down onto the mat. Make that little pillow. Rest your forehead or maybe your cheek on your hands. Let the legs be wide once again. Bring the legs back together. The palms come under the shoulders so you can lift yourself up and find a child's pose. You might want your arms to be stretched out, or letting your forehead once again rest on your palms. Find a child's pose. One more breath here in your child's pose. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to table and back into a seated position with the legs straight out in front of us for staff pose. Nice tall spine. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. No need to really try to touch the toes or stretch it out. First, let the body just melt into this shape. Become acclimated, and then just the weight of the torso may allow you to move your hands forward. Being mindful of the hamstrings. Walk the fingers up the legs. Bring the feet down onto the mat and come onto your back. The knees are pointed to the ceiling. Feet are about hip width apart. Take the right ankle and just let it rest across that left thigh or area right before the knee. Checking out that right hip. And then maybe lifting that left leg up, bringing the hands around if you'd like a deeper stretch in that right hip. Breathing here. 2 more rounds of breath. Let the knees come together. So I'm just basically sliding my right leg down so the knees are closer together. I'm going to bring the knees towards the chest and just let my hands rest on either leg. So we're finding our Gomukhasana or cow face legs, a part of the pose. We're not doing the arms, but you can feel that stretch in both hips here. This is also called shoelace pose in yin, but we're doing it on our back. Take another breath here. And then release down, release both feet down, windshield wiper the legs or the knees side to side. And then bring the feet back on the mat, knees to the ceiling, left ankle across the right knee, lifting that right foot up if you'd like, bringing the hands around that left thigh, or keeping the foot down. 5 nice deep breaths here. Really relax into it. Let the shoulders relax. Noticing that left hip. Let that left knee just slide down so both knees are crossed. Bring the knees into the chest. Hold on to the outside of the legs. Come into this half shoelace stretch. You'll notice if you let the legs move apart that you're going to feel a stretch in the buttocks muscles. So you might feel that in all the tissues there, piriformis, psoas, all of those kind of muscles that are in our going through that whole area. You might feel that. And then we'll release it down, release the legs down, bring the legs straight, arms come overhead. Inhale, stretch the fingers and toes in opposite directions. Exhale with a sigh. Bring the feet back down onto the mat, preparing for bridge pose. If you have a block handy, you can take a restorative bridge. You can also use a big hardcover book if you have that. Just put a towel on top of it. Or just letting the hips lift up as you inhale, pressing the feet into the mat and finding bridge pose. Optional to bring the hands, clasp the hands and bring them under the body, the back body. Come on to the shoulders, lift up a little bit higher. Wherever you are in your bridge pose, take another breath. And just release the hips down. If you are in your restorative bridge, go ahead and just take a couple more breaths there in restorative bridge. We'll all just take a few more breaths. Let your knees come to one side and press yourself back up. And we will now prepare for our restorative pose. A couple of options here. If you've been on your feet all day, you may want to come into your legs up the wall pose. So just bringing your hips close to a wall, letting them rest up against the wall. You can kind of shimmy yourself up there. That's an option. You can also rest your legs on a couch or a chair. You may want to take a bolster, cushion, a pillow. If you've been seated all day, you might want to take a twist. That might feel nice, and kind of just take that belly over bolster twist. And if you're going to do the twist, doing that on both sides. And then finally, a favorite is to just relax down onto the bolster, maybe propping yourself up with a pillow or a blanket. You can also elevate the bolster or the pillow. Legs can be straight out or feet can be together. So pause the video, set your timer for 5 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes, and come into your restorative pose. Maybe have a little music on, just relax, let your body sink down. Removing any props that you might have been using, and let the knees come into the chest. Rock side to side, make some circles with your knees in one direction and then in the opposite direction. Let your knees fall to one side and make your way into your seated position. We'll let our hands come to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Let the palms touch. Exhale. Thank you for joining me in our practice this evening. Namaste.